Let's bring in One News anchor Angela Lagunsad Castro, who joins us from The Hague. Angela, what merits have been shown so far? You know, the judge was surprised because they kind of ended their presentation on the merits quite early.
Well, kasi dalawa yung mangyayari na submission of merits today from the prosecution and for the victim. Siguro nagbigay ang prosecution ng extra time para sa victim makapag-present sila. But yun nga, tama po kayo dyan. Today's hearing highlighted Duterte's kill list by the prosecution. At ngayon po, makakasama natin si, habluti ko lang si Okay, si Atty. Neri Colmenares. Ayan, teka lang ha, ayusin ko. Ayan po.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, would like to ask your reaction doon po sa recently pag-present ng prosecution ngayon ng kanilang merits on the case.
Well, tuloy-tuloy ang methodical exposition ng prosecution ng ebidensya nila, which is basically in-establish yung elements muna, di ba? Widespread or systematic, attack against civilians, matter of policy ito, at may knowledge si President Duterte ng mga atake. And then they presented the evidence na isasubmit nila sa trial to prove the conclusion, the legal, the allegation. So maganda yon kasi ganun naman talaga pag mag-argue ka, sabihin mo yung yung allegation, tapos sabihin mo anong ebidensya ang ipipresent mo to prove it. So that was very good. At sa mga biktima naman, ang counsel ng biktima was able to also bring to the court the observations and the stories of the victims. So it went very well for the prosecution and the victims in the first 2 days. And the methodical exposition is what it will discuss if trial ensues after the charges are confirmed.
Okay, we are joined by, of course, Mrs. Orenia Drilon ng TBS and of course, Sean Yao. Baka may question po kayo?
Good evening from Manila, Atty. Colmenares.
Yes.
Do you think there is still a need for the prosecution to present their insider witnesses?
Now, at this stage, I don't think, they contemplate presenting a witness. This is just a confirmation of charges. And I think, even in my opinion, as lawyer for some of the families of the victims, they were enough. Kasi the allegation was supported by the evidence they will produce to prove that. Of course, if somebody questions, there's no such witness, then maybe they'll be forced to produce it. But I don't think the court will go to there. This is not a trial where the guilt of the accused or the innocence of the accused is being decided. It's merely, is there a substantial evidence, kumbaga probable cause sa atin that President Duterte committed a crime. So, based sa reading ko syempre ng exposition, the probability that he committed the crimes, especially those videos shown, is more than enough for the court to decide whether or not to confirm the charges.
Were you taken aback, attorney, by the motion of the defense to reveal the identities and the location of the supposed insider witnesses?
Well, yes, we were surprised because during trial, they will be presented. The security of the witnesses and whoever is going to testify cannot be compromised kasi. Now, the trial itself, the court has to devise a way to ensure the security of the witness. But at the confirmation of charges, I don't see any reason to do that now. Well, kasi the other side of the coin is nagsisinungaling ng prosecutor. There is no such witness, gawa-gawa sila. The prosecution will suffer heavily for that if it's true. And I don't think the prosecution will do that yet. So, in the same manner, when the defense will say, well, the president reneged on his promise not to cooperate with the ICC, I don't think he has evidence, but we will not look for the evidence to prove it. He said the media painted him as a monster, slanted editorials and deftly cropped pictures. Uh, I also don't think he has evidence, but we will not even demand that you present your evidence because it's irrelevant to the case. Whether or not it's true. I mean, even if Bongbong Marcos did renege on his promise not to cooperate with the ICC, what is his relation to the issue? The issue here is thousands of people were killed and you were charged of committing it. So ang tanong kay President Duterte sa issue na to is, ginawa mo ba yon? Hindi yung, sabihin natin, nagsinungaling si Marcos o di nagsinungaling siya. Wala namang connection yan sa whether or not pinatay mo ang libo-libo. So, makang ganun ang tactic ni President Duterte dito, sidestep. Sidestep. Kasi wala naman ako nakikitang ebidensya na may present niya para sabihin wala siyang kinalaman sa war on drugs.
But Attorney Colmenares, usually kasi, di ba, sabi nila, yung burden of proof lies with the prosecution nga.
Yes.
And then some pundits are saying, no, based on the opening statement yesterday by the defense, medyo overly defensive daw. Some are saying, of course, na context setting daw ito, no, because a lot of people hindi sanay kay dating President Rodrigo Duterte. Ano naman po yung tingin ninyo doon sa reaksyon ng defense yesterday, and how do you think they will proceed moving forward?
Parang procedure yan sa ICC, natural na parang maglagay ka ng contextual. Kasi contextual setting, ano ba ito? Hindi sanay ang ICC. Actually, doon ako nagulat Kasi parang ang allegation ng defense, sa totoo lang sa Pilipinas, joke lang yon. Parang ganun ba? Walang intensyong pumatay. Walang intent to kill. Na I think, halos lahat, kahit supporter siguro ni President Duterte, sasabi na, siyempre, may intention to kill talaga yun, di ba? Kill. Kaya nga sila sumusuporta dahil ang kanyang kapakaran, patayin yung mga adik So, nagulat ako na kasi kung yun ang depensa na misconstrue nyo lang siya, is not really a monster. Kayo kasi sa media, mga media moguls kayo, you want to win award tingin ko mahina yun. Kasi parang ang nangyari, ang libo-libong namatay, parang hindi totoo yun. Gawa-gawa lang ng media yun. Di ba? Ganun na lang yung ending na parang I doubt kung ang korte maniwala sa ganun. So, well, kung may mga nagsasabi na I don't see any offensive nga Parang ang sabi, ito yung allegation namin, ito yung aming ebidensya ang defensive doon actually, si President Duterte. Kasi hindi niya sinasagot yung issue. Ang sagot niya is si Bongbong Marcos, hindi niya sinunod yung pangako niya. Itong mga media ay lang to, mga CSO, gawa-gawa nyo lang to. Parang ad hominem And in the end, kahit mapatunayan niya pa lahat ng sinabi niya, it doesn't absolve him from the charges, which is crimes against humanity were committed and you probably committed it. And that's what the only thing at issue for now, no? It's not whether he committed it with proof beyond reasonable doubt, but it's probable that he committed it. And I think the prosecution was able to show that he probably committed it with the voluminous evidences and witness accounts that they mentioned.
Angela,
Okay, so you were...
Angela, sorry, I have a question. This time for you. Excuse me lang, Atty.
sure.
Colmenares. No? The former president supposedly has filed another petition before the court
Yes.
asking them to allow him not to skip his detention review hearing on Friday. Explain to us what that means.
Okay, so that is going to be on February 27. Aside from the conclusion of the statements from the prosecution, victims' legal counsel, and defense, magkakaroon ng review ng detention center, di ba, attorney? Itong for context ang under the ICC rule, regular na pag-check ito ng ICC doon sa detention center kung maaari bang sa kanila pa rin i-detain ang akusado or maaari nilang i-grant ito ng temporary release under specific conditions. So this is a procedural process. If you want to add on that?
That's correct. That's correct, Angela. Yeah, it's a regular thing. And I think it's being done also with other detainees. Here in the ICC.
Pero yung kanyang waiver dito, kailangan ng separate decision no ng ICC pre-trial chamber. So we will see kung the judges will allow him or not.
Okay. One final question for you, Atty. Colmenares. What is the mood there for some of the, families of the victims? Attorney Joel Butuyan yesterday said that he sometimes felt, harassed or unsafe because of some of the Duterte clones there in The Hague.
Well, una muna, masaya ang mga pamilya na natuloy. No? They're happy that the confirmation of charges hearing has continued, at least took place, because it was postponed since last year. It sometimes affects them when they hear the stories of victims, the how they were killed, especially stories about a person being dropped from the second floor and it turned out to be alive at the time he was dropped, and the packaging tape wrapped around, all these things, kasi brings back memories. It's a very painful death, a cruel death actually, if you suffocate a person with plastic rather than just shoot, it brings back painful memories. So it also dampens their enthusiasm to listen. Kaya lang they believe that it's a necessary process. In terms of the presentation of the prosecution, masaya ang victims kahapon kasi klarong-klaro coherent, methodical ang pagka-present na pag nakikinig ka, parang yun ang aligasyon nila, yun ang kanilang ebidensya, mukhang makukonfirm ang charges dito. So basically, may mixed emotions, but they're happy. They're happy that it's pushing through. They feel a little tinge of sadness every time they remember the deaths of their loved ones, but they've accepted that fact and they're willing to go on and pursue justice for them.
Very quick na lang po, Mrs. and Sean, tanong ko lang kay Attorney Neri na generally you said you're happy with the presentation of the prosecution, pero are there certain evidence that you would want sana na mas dalin pa or ipakita ng prosecution ngayon dito sa confirmation of charges, since mas kabisado mo itong kaso na to dahil you've been with the victim since 2018?
Yes, well, of course, we asked the court kahapon if they can also allow during trial, of course, the more victims to also air their stories of how their loved ones were mercilessly killed, without mercy, killed by the drug war, during the drug war. For me, I think the evidence is strong. I would have preferred more co-perpetrators because it would not have happened. However, the prosecution has not yet gone into that. I believe the next stage, this is my opinion, they've already named President Duterte, of course, and then the national officials, PNP chief and so on, the justice secretary and so on. I think the third batch would go into the regional level. The generals in the, let's say, Central Luzon or Central Visayas, who may have also been or could be part of the investigation, could be indicted. I really hope so, that it will be the next set of evidence that will be presented. Maybe at the trial, not in the confirmation hearing, but that's the next possible co-perpetrators who should be named.